Moment, Season 9, Episode 9. I'm Dante Bullhauer, Jamie Bullhauer, and we are your hosts. We have been your hosts the entire time here. So we are, I don't know if you can even see it, new part of the studio.
That had to rearrange the studio.
Yeah,
you probably see.
Yeah. So our resident guest has now more room to squeak her toys. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today we're talking about just 3 hard questions. We have done this, I think, twice before or something like that. I know we've done it at least once before. Yeah. Where we just ask each other 3 mind-melding questions about our creative endeavors. So, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Oh, I'll go first. All right. So you get to be a one-hit wonder in photography. Like you're famous for one picture. What is it? Which one? We are filming earlier in the morning, so
yeah, I would probably go. This is gonna change, like basically once a month, I would hope. But this one's been my favorite for a while. The Yellowstone one that I talk about a lot with the bison and the light coming across the trees. I'll pull it up. I'll flash this bad boy on screen. It was up in my apartment. The green trees with the bison in the middle, kind of sunset. That photo, one, I really like it because all the different colors and things, and like I said, the sunset's just like coming over the canyon, and so it's hitting the tops of some of the trees. It's kind of like the trees circle just around the bison as he's just kind of feeding whatever, and then you can still see the blue sky up in the top left. And I just think, one, that was composed really well. 2, I think it does a really good job of epitomizing Yellowstone. I mean, Yellowstone's massive. There's a ton of photos you can take. But, like, when you think Yellowstone, you think the wildlife. And the first one that comes to mind, for me at least, is the bison. Yeah. So that photo also just takes me back. Like, that photo is the one that takes me back to, like, that trip that we went on. And just the emotions of being in Yellowstone were just really cool. It felt like you're in a Western movie type. Like, it was just really cool.
It is.
And, I mean, that photo in particular almost didn't happen if we weren't stuck in gridlock traffic on the 1-lane road that goes in and out of Yellowstone. So we got out of the car because we'd sat there for at least half hour. I'm like, we're not moving, it looks like. So we just got out because we saw there were bison everywhere. Yeah. And so I was like, that one looks like a really cool photo. And we just hung out there for like 10 minutes and then got back in the car and still took like an hour to get out. But that photo, one, for how the emotion it brings out of me, but 2, I feel like it's just a really cool photo.
Okay. I like it.
Okay. My first one is, what is a defining moment in your career that if you would have done something different or not done something or done something extra, whatever it is, what is a defining moment that you feel like changed your career path in a significant way?
Even though it ended up, again, decades later, actually going ahead and self-publishing way back in the 90s, my first poetry book, and panhandling it basically through out Hastings and stuff like that. And that, like, I don't, even though it took all the way again till like 2015 before I did something like that again, and the technology changed and actually, made it easier to self-publish at that time, and now it's even easier. Like, I took it to the print shop. It's now the one that's closed. What did I can't remember. I think it was like 500 copies, maybe, or something like that. And part of that is because of the story. I've told the story before, but that another poet, his mom bought him that book, and that got him into poetry because it showed him that you can write about anything, like, so if I didn't panhandle that, because it's those dots that connect, and you don't know how they connect. Sometimes you never know. As a teacher, I know that part, but knowing that there are some big dots for other people also. So if I wouldn't have done that, I didn't make any money. Like, I didn't even break even, because again, this was old school, stuff. But I don't know, that spark, and then when the time came for doing it again, I just kind of understood what it would take to actually get it like under the lights out there and stuff like that. So I don't know if I hadn't done that one, I don't, I may not even be, being in the creative world. Because I still have copies if anybody wants. Like, you can sell it on Pawn Stars.
It's still panhandling.
Like, hey, this is the original. Because I actually republished that book with added content for the 25-year anniversary of that book. And that was, like, 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I added, due to that, I added some other poetry that I had from that time era in there. So that probably is it.
Interesting. It's gonna sound mean, but when I think of, you say the 90s and panhandling, I think of like a VHS recorder filter over you handing out books by Allen's or something.
Well, I carried, like, I sold some to, I kind of knew the secretaries and stuff and admin and, at the college, and the Blue Moon had some, and yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, it was fun, but then I also kind of learned, I was like, oh my gosh, this is hard. Like, I don't, there's, at that time, there's no other really way to do that stuff. Now Goodreads lets you have content, like, it is so much easier right now in that regard to self-publish or be an indie author and get the book out there and book. I didn't know about book fairs and stuff in college, and how. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, this one might be a little tough also. Okay, they're supposed to be. What is the one tool or software that would most negatively influence what you do if I took it away?
Like, if I said the camera, is that, or like, are you talking about like just like an editing?
No, any of. So obviously you got to have the camera, but the newest stuff, like, you'd have to go old school maybe, or.
Definitely, I just go Premiere Pro, my video editing software, because photography has been around obviously a lot longer than video has, and video is photography in a sense, just multiple frame. Like, if you're shooting 24, for those uninitiated, if you're shooting 24 frames a second video, it's taking 24 photos in a second and just laying them out. But video now has become, I feel, a lot more of a priority for higher paying clients. Photos are kind of add-ons to some of my photo and video packages now. Just because, when we consume social media, for the most part, it's videos now. For the most part. Still, like, I consume a lot of photography, but you don't watch photos on the TV. You don't Twitter is kind of a mix of text, video, photo. Instagram's a lot of video, some photo. TikTok is like all video, and now it just added photo. And so with a lot of my...
just added photo.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Which is like weird, but
yeah.
All the social media apps are the exact same now.
Yeah,
but
they are.
But video now has just become such a widespread, we need a hype video, and we need a video for this, and we need a video for that, and that, taking away that editing software would hurt me a lot. I can still learn other video softwares, but right now I don't have the time to start from scratch from a program. Like, it'd be Photoshop would probably be a close second because I don't have time to relearn that stuff. It took me like probably 2 years to learn both of them individually. And so if you took that away, my income would go to zero very quickly. So definitely Premiere Pro. I mean, the digital aspect of photography, like if you took away a digital camera, that would hurt a lot too, because doing film and having to produce physical photos and not being able to do video would be super detrimental, because one, the turnaround time that people want their stuff is a lot quicker than back in the film days. I'd have to find somewhere to do the processing and the burning and all those things, like the darkroom stuff. And nobody would post. I'd have to like scan the film and then send it off digitally, and that would just be a nightmare. So digital cameras also,
because you could, if you had our old camcorder, with the tape. Yeah, so we both talked about some of the side question here. Is it, in a way, is technology making both of our areas just too easy?
Yes. I think the barrier to entry now is so low that people stop learning at a certain point, and that point is not even like the base level of what they should learn. People just, like, now people are doing phone video weddings, TikTok weddings, they call it whatever. And they don't know the compositional rules of videography. They don't know the angles, the focal lengths, all the different things that tell the story, but they're a videographer because they know how to take a video. You know how to take a photo. And that just irks me. Because it is, like I mentioned a lot, the Dunning-Kruger effect. The more you learn, the less you think you actually know. And so if you haven't learned anything, you feel like you know everything, and then there's a point where it crosses and starts to go the other way. And that just feels like so many people now have access to be able to just buy a camera or buy a phone, whatever, and be able to do it. It's like, that doesn't mean that you don't need to learn how to be a real photographer. Just because you take photos doesn't mean you're a photographer.
And I've mentioned it too before. The poetic world especially is so filled with just, we might deem it free verse, but it's not even really free verse and stuff. And there is so much you can learn from the classic forms, and just understanding how a sentence, the syllable count and the unstressed, again, it's, and I admit that, especially if you read my early stuff, it is very kind of would match today's. I get that because I just learned Shakespeare in school. That's all that was. And then when I taught myself, just like you did, about these 100 and some different poetic forms and wrote in them and did, I was like, holy, and it's amazing then how you feel as an artist, because you have this knowledge and this base, and you're and stuff. And we talked about jealousy and others, there's some other factors that come into play, because it is kind of hard to sit there and watch sometimes somebody get all these accolades for something you're like, that's not that well written, so okay.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna get. Oh boy, we almost got off on a tangent on that one.
So my second one is kind of weird. And I'm trying to frame it right. So your poetry as constituted, say like your latest poetry book or novel, whatever, that you're really proud of, put a lot of time into, you publish it, it doesn't get much traction, whatever. If someone were to plagiarize that, copy it, and just like basically resell it, whatever, and just put their name on it, and it blew up, and it was like New York Times bestseller, whatever, and you can never, go to court, fight them, whatever, your work is famous, but you never get to really feel or capitalize on that fame or monetary success, whatever. Would that be worth it? Or would you feel that is Would you feel some sort of fulfillment at all, or would that not be?
So there's two things. First off, luckily I have a job, and so like if I was a struggling artist, like if I trying to make it at, oh my gosh, I would like do everything I could. I'd knock on the person's door, like, do you know what I'm saying? Because that's a different area. And not that I've ever been a struggling artist, but I've been a struggling student. I've been and so that aspect, I totally see why somebody, or I would at that point, like, no, But now, since I'm like 106 years old and I just kind of understand, I would still try to find a way to get the credit for that. And you know what?
But even if you couldn't, would you feel any sense of pride?
I would. Anything? It would be yes, because it the art is out there. And again, I would still try. Like, don't get me wrong on that part. But being where I am now, I understand the power of the art itself. The Robert Frost poem, Two Paths Diverge in the Yellow Woods, people know the poem more than they know the artist, the Robert Frost. They aren't thinking about Robert Frost. They're thinking about what that poem means, and it's, said in graduation, you know what I'm saying? So at a certain point, if the art is good enough, the artist actually kind of becomes second.
I don't know who painted the Mona Lisa. So that's probably the stupid thing to say, but
but it's true. It just proves that point. Like a starry sky paint. Like people, the art is its own identity once it's a little bit released out into the world. And so that's where I'd feel a sense of pride. And because when people maybe even talk about on social media, they will talk about the art, the poem, and the artist to a degree becomes second. And that's kind of humbling to think about as an artist too. Like, humbling in the sense that it's not my ego that is in play here. What is in play, and why I think, another little tangents, that's what the questions are meant to be, is that I think we're going to swing back to authenticity in stuff because of the magical part of the artist putting themselves into it, and then the art becoming something that's connected to the world, and people want the art. AI stuff is just going to just kind of be, cheese it and just something people eat and then, okay. The real stuff has real heart to it, and it lasts. I mean, we're still talking and dealing with Shakespearean plays and stuff. If you really think about that, after all this time, people will still resonate with Romeo and Juliet and understand. It's like real art has real heart, and it lasts.
Well, I think another thing on that same vein is a lot of creatives or whatever now in this very like influencer-centered society, they want it to be about them and not the art.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a Nebraska journalism group, I'll call them, that does a lot of, just focuses on one sport, and I'm not going to name them, whatever. Every single post that they have is about where this photographer is. It's about me. Oh, we worked so hard at state track, whatever. Look at all these photos that we took. Me. I'm like, no, that's not it. It's not it. And it feels disingenuous when it's, oh, look at my art, not look at the athletes or the art that we created, whatever. They'll always post, this guy was here. Look at what a great job he did. We are here. We're all over the state. I'm like, I'm all over the state too. I'll post about it every once in a while, but you don't see me being like, oh, look, it's all about me. Look at the great job that I did photographing these kids. And just with like TikTok creators, whatever, it's just all about, they want to be known for them and be the focus of everything and not what they are creating.
Yeah. And I kind of also, in my world, notice that when it's a little bit more that, they don't have as much content. Now, obviously, photography, they can produce, but it's just like, they have this smaller work of art poems. Like they've got 10 of them that and I'm not. Chuck D talked about this is like about the artists. A lot of the artists great artists created a lot of stuff that we don't even know about, but they kept creating because that's what they do. It's like, yeah, that's what I do. I am a poet or a writer, or blog, and that's what I do. And so not everything is great. No, I mean Robert Frost had published 300 poems, I believe, or just under. People know him for about 5 of them. But that didn't keep him from writing, and stuff like that. So, okay. All right. So, now I forgot my third one. Hold on.
Yeah, we went off on a tangent.
We went off on tangent on. Oh my gosh. Do you got your third one? I don't remember. Well, I had a couple. This one okay. I did. You are at the end of your life. You're at the end of your life, okay? And you are setting up, you get to do, sometimes you get to write your own, obituary type of thing. What is, after friends and family, what is the next paragraph about? Because obituaries always have friends and family. You're survived by this. You had da-da-da. And then...
It's just like...
What is the next paragraph about?
So again, I sound very dumb in this episode. So you write, you're survived by blah, blah, blah. And then it's just about your life, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of?
Okay. Kind of, yeah. It's...
This is a creative podcast.
And I've got coach teacher voice too.
I hope it says, no matter what it is, no matter what I did it passionately, obsessively, and I did it until... Like, if I was going to do something, going to pursue something, that I did it until I either achieved what I wanted to achieve or just the wheels fell off or whatever. Like, when I talk about my business, whatever, I'm like, I want to just go and go and go until I, physically, I'm tapped out. And sometimes that's unhealthy, but...
We talked about stress in another, yeah.
But I just want to be known as the guy that was always... doing the most, trying to be his best at everything he does, and not the guy that ever really just kind of half worked it and didn't make the full potential of whatever he was trying to achieve. You'd say that my golf game needs some work in it, but with business and with relationships and just with side hobbies, everything, I want to be the guy that was known that he was always the one that was going to work hard enough or work harder than everybody else to get to where he wanted to get to, or do what he wanted to do, or show just be the most passionate about whatever. That's what I'd hope it'd say.
Okay.
And I hope all my jerseys are hanging above the
coffin. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, it's gonna be
Jaylen Brown front and center.
Wait. Oh, side quote. Which jersey would you put on Jaylen Brown on your coffin?
The black one. The black with the green letters.
Okay.
Yeah. For now.
If they finally... We got a lot of seasons to...
Because a couple of years ago, I would have said Isaiah Thomas. Years before that, Kevin Garnett. So. Yep. Okay. That was deep. I should have thought of that one. Okay, well, mine's not as deep.
It's okay.
But would you rather have one of these two options? So you can either... produce work, you can keep posting, keep publishing, all that stuff, but never be able to learn anything else, whether it's a new form or a new trick or something, whatever it is, a new whatever. Never be able to learn about the industry, or flip flop it. You're always learning stuff and always just taking in information, but you can't actually ever put pen to paper.
Again, that's a different question at a different age for me. You know what I'm saying? Like at different aspects of. Okay, I'm just gonna go with my gut. Let me go with my gut because once you start thinking, sometimes I get. I would actually probably do the learning option. I'd probably do the learning option, and as a part of here's my little asterisk though. I get to teach others about it. If I could do that, if I could continue to learn and improve, and then still be, I take a little bit of pride, like in the jam, when I get up on the virtual stage, they're like, teach, what do we got, that nickname, because I do, even though I'm talking sometimes about 17th century poetic forms, because they're like, oh, I hear, they kind of hear the rhyme or, stuff like that. So in one way, I'm happy with the content that I have out in the world as it is. It's not the end of my content. Like but I would learn as long as I got to also teach and help other people grow in what they're doing.
Interesting.
Now, if you'd asked when I was like 21, younger,
I'd flip it. I'd go.
Yeah, I would. I understand. But at the point now, that's what I would do.
And I love producing stuff, but part of the reason I like producing right now, just part of it, is that I do learn stuff while I produce it. And if I was like, whether it's just I come across something organically on my phone or I just kind of learn, oh, this is a tool that I didn't use in Lightroom, whatever. Like I learned something yesterday doing a video promo thing that I'm like, oh, okay. And now this is another thing in the tool belt. Yep. But if I was just stuck at where I was, I think after like a year, I'd be like, my stuff's gone stale. Like at the end of every like senior season, I'm like, oh man, I need some new pose. I need some new ideas. And it just feels like stale. So then I go in at like that winter or whatever. I'm like, okay, let's get some more angles, poses, whatever it is to get. Because the passion burns out a little bit, I think, when you stop learning and you just like it's when you reach the mountaintop, that complacency. There's a reason back-to-back Super Bowls are super, super rare because you're just like, oh, well, I worked hard and I did it and I produced everything I needed to. I don't need to learn or improve or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing I noticed, like with some of your volleyball, you got this fun element this year. A little funny, and you can kind of see the smiles on their face. They're like, this is silly, but that's the point, because you're trying to capture a moment, and if it's always the same,
well, yeah, and that's like the last couple of years starting to use more like props and stuff, and adding in a chair has transformed my ideas randomly.
Yeah.
And just little stuff that's like, oh, that's cool to be able to do this. Oh, that's cool to just add stuff and keep learning. Oh, I like putting the cards on the gym floor and then panning up to them, like just learning. Okay, that's a way I can incorporate these different.
And you get some new transitions, or I think at least in the high video, the Osceola one with the 9, and I noticed another one, and it might. I'm the trained eye can see it, but it's part of the composition, and it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
They probably do that. That's like, oh, that was neat. They
don't even know, like subconsciously, it's like, oh, that was sweet, and they don't even really know what happened.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I forgot to look at the time. It was Tangent City today. But, I think that's wrapped up. Good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. That was a fun episode to make, so hopefully it's a fun episode to watch. Again, we're on all the podcast platforms. You can find us Spotify, Apple. We do video on YouTube. There's also the video on Spotify. So check us out there. And we'll be next time will be the season finale.
I am trying. I'm not gonna make any promises, but I'm trying to. We might have a cool guest to end this season. but I don't know. I'm not making any promises. I'm hoping. I reached out and so we'll see.
We're working behind the scenes for you, the consumer. We do this for you guys. But with that, thanks as always for watching and supporting, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.